Hi there, it's Mr. Alexander, and in this video I'd like to show you how to calculate standard deviation using the calculator, TI-83 and TI-84. The process is actually the same for both of them. So I'm just going to use my 84 here. First and foremost, I'm going to show you how to just get a raw number, what the standard deviation is, so that you can double check your answer after calculating it by hand. So if you go to Stat Edit here, and type in the numbers 3, 4, 16, 20, 8, and 15. You do stat calc 1. Leave the frequency list empty because it's not frequency data, it's just raw data. You can see that the standard deviation, it's actually listed twice. It depends on if you have population data or sample data. This one, the sigma x, that's the population data, standard deviation, and SX, that's the sample standard deviation. Most of the time we're going to be using sample. The formula I have here is for the sample. You can tell because of that S and because of n-1. So if you see n-1, you're using S sub x. If you see just n on the bottom there, you're using sigma x. It's just the formula is slightly different. This is only good if you're trying to double check your answer. This isn't going to help you calculate standard deviation at all, which is what I'm going to show you how to do next. If you want to just do what you would do by hand, except instead of doing it by hand, you do it all in the calculator. In order to do it by hand, you have to first know what the average is. That's what this mu is in here. In this case, it's 11. So let me show you what you would do by hand. I'm going to show you how to replicate it using the calculator. So you've got your x's, right? You've got your 3, your 4, your 16, your 20, you've got your 8, and you've got your 15. And you've got your mu, which is your mean, which is 11. First thing you're supposed to do is subtract them. So you've got x minus mu. 3 minus 11 is negative 8, negative 7, 5, 9, negative 3, and 4. And next you want to square them. X minus mean squared. So 8 squared is 64, 49, 25, 81, 9, 16. And then that symbol right there means to total them. So just to add them all up, that's going to be 64 plus 49 plus 25 plus 81 plus 9 plus 16. That's 244. And you're supposed to take that 244, divide by n-1. N is just how many there are. There's 6 of them. So I'm going to take that 244 divided by 6 minus 1 is 5. I'm just going to take the square root of that. 244 divided by 5, square root of 48.8 is just about 6.99. Which hopefully is what I got on the calculator when I did stat calc 1. It's the 6.99. So, calculated it. I did it very quickly by hand. I got 6.99. But there was a lot of opportunity here for me to do the wrong math. Like when you saw me subtracting these, 3 minus 11 would be it'd be pretty easy to get the wrong answer there, not get negative 8. And I just want to show you how to use the tables to replicate this process so that you feel good about the answer you get before you type it in. So like on the homeworks, you'll probably notice that it's looking for that number and that number and that number. So you're going to need to be able to calculate all 3 of them. Let me just show you how to do that. I like to do it on tables. So if I go to Stat Edit again, I've already got the 3, the 4, the 16, the 20, the 8, and the 15. And I use stat calc 1 to get my mean of 11. I'm just going to type that 11 into list 2. 11, 11, whoops. And then the next part is I need to do all these x's minus the mean. So if you go up here and you actually highlight list 3, and this works on the TI-83 the same way I'm doing it on the TI-84, and you just physically type in L1 minus L2 like that. And the way you get that L1 is to do second 1 The way you get the L2 is to do second 2. When I hit enter here, it's going to populate the whole list. And you'll notice those numbers are pretty similar to what I had over here. Alright, so I just did all those calculations, but I didn't make any arithmetic errors, which maybe I wasn't likely to do it, but I could have done it. The calculator's not going to make an arithmetic error. The next step in the formula is to do these x minus means squared. So if I come over here to L4, and I highlight L4 and simply do L3 squared, like this, and hit enter, it's going to square this whole list for me. Now what I really need is the sum of this, because that's what's on the top here, the sum of the x minus mu squared. So I could add all these up, but again, that's an opportunity for me to make an arithmetic error. So what's easier to do is to do stat calc 1, but instead of looking at list 1, if you look at list 4, calculate that, you'll see that the sum of the x's is 244, which is exactly what I got here. Even better yet, it tells me what my n is. My n is 6, so n minus 1 is 5. Feeling good about that. And then from there, it's just as simple as typing in the calculator the square root of 244 divided by 5. So that's 6.9856999,679, which is exactly what I get when I do stat calc 1 on list 1. So that's a quick and easy way for you to double check your standard deviation calculations. Like I say in every video, only use these techniques to double check your work. Do it the way your teacher taught you first. Do it by hand first and use this as a technique to double check your work. Word of caution, when you go back to stat calc 1, you'll notice that I had to change it to list 1. It was L4. So when you're done, either clear the calculator or change it back to L1. Easiest way to clear the calculator is 2nd plus 712. I recommend doing that every time you get a calculator. Alright, that's how you do standard deviation on the calculator. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.